Okay, have you ever caught yourself wondering why incredibly intelligent people often make just terrible financial choices? Or why building lasting wealth sometimes feels like this impossible puzzle, even when you're doing all these supposedly right things? Well, today, inspired by Morgan Housel's brilliantly eye-opening book, The Psychology of Money, we're going to fundamentally shift the way you think about wealth. We are stepping totally away from the rigid, boring spreadsheets and diving straight into the messy, fascinating world of human behavior. Let's get into this explainer. Right off the bat, picture this. Imagine two very different people. On one hand, you've got person a high-power professional pulling in, let's say, $300,000 a year. On paper, they're killing it. But behind the scenes, they're drowning in debt, constantly buying things just to impress people they probably don't even like, and spending every single month low-key panicking about money. Now picture person B, earning a modest $50,000 a year. Yet, they live comfortably below their means, they invest consistently, and they're quietly building a massive amount of wealth. And this isn't just a made-up scenario. It's perfectly illustrated by the famous true story of Richard Fiscone, a Harvard-educated executive who ultimately went bankrupt, compared to Ronald Read, a humble janitor who amassed an $8 million fortune by the time he passed away, simply by saving and investing. So, gut check here. Honestly, ask yourself and confront your own biases. Who is actually better at managing their finances? It's so obvious when we lay the bare facts out like this, right? But in the real world, most of us would instantly assume the high earner is the one who's better off. We are practically conditioned from birth to see a massive salary and automatically equate it with financial mastery. But over the course of this explainer, we're going to completely dismantle that idea and break down exactly why the modest earner is actually far more likely to find true, lasting financial success. Let's start with Section 1, the Great Income Illusion. And that naturally brings us right into Section 2, the money math myth. For generations, we've basically been operating under this massive assumption that wealth is just a math problem we need to solve. We think, if we can just crack the formula, boom, we'll be rich. From a really young age, we're taught all the standard mathematical concepts in school: percentages, interest rates, budgets, investments, and taxes, the whole shebang. And sure, those are absolutely crucial tools. But here is the wild part. Almost everyone knows they should save money. Almost everyone knows that racking up unnecessary debt is incredibly risky. Yet millions of people who completely understand those exact mathematical concepts still struggle financially every single day. Why? Because knowledge alone, just having the facts in your head, simply does not control our decisions. Which brings us to a core truth of this whole philosophy, and honestly, it's a bit of a revelation. Financial success isn't determined by how much you know about numbers. It's determined by how you behave. Honestly, let that sink in for a second. That single idea changes absolutely everything. Your supreme intelligence, your stellar GPA, your vast encyclopedic knowledge of financial math, none of that actually dictates your financial outcomes. Your day-to-day behavior does. Moving right along to Section 3, emotions drive financial decisions. So, if supreme mathematical intelligence isn't the thing steering the ship, we really need to understand the powerful psychological forces that actually are. We're leaving the realm of cold, hard logic and entering the reality of the messy human mind. Fear, greed, pride, jealousy, excitement, hope. Almost every single financial decision you make is heavily, heavily influenced by these overwhelming human emotions. This is exactly why even the most experienced, mathematically brilliant investors on Wall Street can panic and sell everything when markets take a dip. It's why people buy wildly expensive things just to feel a fleeting sense of success or pride. Or on the flip side, why others avoid investing entirely because they are literally paralyzed by the fear of losing money. We aren't looking at math problems here. We're dealing with deeply human, psychological ones. The reality is, your unique life experiences shape your financial beliefs far more than any objective facts ever could. Think about how true this is in your own life. No two people experience money in the exact same way. If you grew up during a devastating financial crisis, you probably value security far, far more than taking a risk. If you watched your parents struggle terribly with debt, you might avoid borrowing at all costs. Meanwhile, someone who grew up wealthy might see aggressive investing as totally normal, everyday behavior. Every single person walks around believing they are making completely logical decisions based on the facts, but those decisions are entirely shaped by their personal history. That is exactly why two incredibly smart people can completely disagree about money and both firmly 100% believe they are right. Let's tackle Section 4, looking rich versus being wealthy. Today's world, especially with social media making comparisons so incredibly easy, constantly encourages us to loudly look rich through highly visible spending. We see the luxury cars, the designer clothes, the ridiculous vacations, and the absolute newest technology everywhere we look. But appearances can be so deceiving. Some people spend literally everything they earn, and then some, just trying to look wealthy to strangers. On the other side of the coin, actual wealth, like really being wealthy, is often totally unnoticed. It's quiet. Real wealth is the unspent money. It's the investments growing quietly in a Vanguard account for decades. And most importantly, it is the time freedom that having a financial cushion provides. You can't exactly post a photograph of time freedom on Instagram, but it is hands down the ultimate measure of true wealth. And this brings up a really painful reality for a lot of people. Without good financial behavior, increasing your income simply increases your spending. It's a trap so many of us fall into because we just assume that earning more money will automatically act as a magic wand and solve all our financial problems. And sometimes it does, but very often it really doesn't. Earning more money usually just funds a much bigger lifestyle, a bigger house, a fancier car, way higher monthly expenses. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's exactly why so many high earners are out there still living completely paycheck to paycheck.
All right, finally, Section 5, Transforming Your Financial Mindset. The overarching truth we are uncovering here is just this. Income creates opportunity, but your behavior determines the outcome. It's pretty amazing to realize that over our upcoming 20 explainers, just unpacking these simple concepts can completely transform your financial future. We're going to explore why luck and risk actually matter far more than we like to admit. We'll look at why saving absolutely crushes showing off, and uncover how compounding quietly creates massive, life-changing wealth in the background. We'll discuss why true freedom is the absolute greatest luxury money can buy, and how ordinary, consistent habits almost always outperform extraordinary intelligence. Each of these lessons is incredibly simple on its own, yet together, they are literally life-changing. As we wrap up this introduction, I want to leave you with one final question to really challenge your current mindset before we dive into the meat of this series. Are you seeking temporary success, or are you building lasting wealth? Remember, the absolute greatest investment you can ever make isn't in a hot new stock or cryptocurrency or real estate. It's in developing a healthy, sustainable relationship with money. When you finally understand why people behave the way they do with money, including yourself, by the way, you begin making decisions that actually lead to lasting wealth. So think deeply about your own daily behaviors, and I will see you in our next explainer as we continue this awesome journey.